Hello, thank you for joining us today at Beyond the Mortgage. I have Keisha here. We are going to be covering the role of AI in real estate. She is a AI expert, and we want to just pick your brain today about how it can help you in your real estate and in your sales game. So yeah, if you want to introduce yourself. Thanks for joining us, Keisha.
Absolutely, Selena. Thank you for having me. So my name is Keisha. Yes, I do own an AI marketing agency called The Perfect Digital Solution. We help small businesses, typically in the home services industry, grow and scale through AI technologies, implementing simple AI solutions. So we developed a product called the AI Employee that helps with simplifying the process of your day-to-day operations in business. So it can include anything from obviously smart websites, chatbot integrations on your website, and business automations to streamline repetitive tasks and processes.
Sounds like a lot of roles.
A lot of roles, right? A lot of roles. Technology is typically really boring to some, but it's fun for me. So
I don't know if it's boring. I think it's kind of complicated for me.
It can be, and I think because of that, which is why we always say simple technology, simple AI solutions. We want people to understand it. They may not know how to implement it, but we want them to understand how it impacts their business and how it can help them grow and scale relatively quickly. Technology is like math. It's like a love-hate kind of relationship. But I think if it's introduced in the right way, people tend to quickly adapt to it.
So what would you say, like the role of AI in real estate? How is AI transforming the real estate industry?
Oh my gracious. So real estate, right? Real estate is very transactional, right? It's all about like customer service, and it leads to a transaction. So people always think, well, because it's so customer service based, does technology really fit in? You don't want it to be robotic. You don't want to lose that sense of rapport building.
Like that personability.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where AI is really changing the game because, well, what is AI? AI is simply taking machines and turning them into an operation where it can receive information and extract information with human-like capabilities. So versus technology, which is very data-driven, black and white, AI, that's what differentiates it. It really is about that human connection and programming it to where it almost responds just like you. Like if you, Selena, had a website and you wanted to put a chatbot on it, we would program it to where it sounds just like you. It knows everything about your business. If you were a realtor, it would know all about your listings, everything you have active, the prices, the bedrooms, the acre, everything. And it's people are typing questions, it's responding just like you're there 24/7, and you could be at home sipping coffee.
That's like cool but scary in a way too, because it's basically absorbing your traits and communication styles, I would assume.
Absolutely.
It's
really adapting a persona. So with all technology, you're always really cautious and careful about what you want to put out there. But especially like in real estate, a lot of realtors have adapted recently the idea of like a lot of social media marketing. So a lot of videos, because they want their potential buyers to know their personality traits and their style, because that's what attracts people to you.
Right.
It's realtors everywhere, right? But it's something about that one that just clicked with me, and now I want to reach out to her. So it's no more than taking what you would normally put on social media, but kind of putting it behind the scenes.
That's a really good way of looking at it, because I think a lot of people do think that it is like they're taking their jobs, but you're kind of more like it's going to actually enhance it and make it a lot easier for them to navigate other challenges.
Absolutely.
So then you introduced like the employee, but you said it was like kind of like, is it similar to like the virtual assistants for realtors?
Yes, actually it can be looked at very similar. It's like you said, it's supposed to enhance or amplify your business, not replacing anything. You cannot do a robotic real estate transaction. I mean, if that's the case, people would just do it. They'll close it themselves, right?
Right,
They'll be like, well, I'll work
exactly.
for myself and do it. So it's really just to enhance the experience. It's to be able to work for you when you are not able to work for yourself or you're busy. Realtors are always on the phone and they're always in meetings because that's what drives their business.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not always available to respond to an email. You're not always available to pick up or answer a phone call. And you're not on your website where you can interact with people 24/7.
Right.
That's what it's doing for you. It's making it seem like you are available to your clientele 24/7 when really you are not.
Physically, yes.
Physically. Correct.
Nice. So what is like the benefits of having the virtual assistants? Like what are some things that specifically can be tasked for a virtual assistant?
So great question. So several different ones. I'm going to save the best for last. So some of them, we will talk about like answering your phones and being really busy. You can actually have chat agents that are actually answering phones for you with obviously very human-like conversations, and they sound very human-like, and they can either make the phone calls for you, prospecting, like lead nurturing, things like
cold
that.
calling kind of? Okay.
Absolutely. Or they can be programmed to actually answer your phone calls when you are not. Someone may be calling because they just want to know, do you have something available because I'm relocating in my price range with this bedroom count, with this amount of acreage in this part of town. They don't necessarily need to speak to a realtor for that. If everything is programmed into this chat agent, it frees up the time for real estate agents to do what they're best at doing. That's showing the homes. That's actually nurturing the relationships, but still getting all of these prospects questions answered so they can continue to build their pipeline and build their business out. So one that's become very popular in the real estate industry are chat agents, or you'll hear that referred to as AI voice agents. So that's one. Another one is business automations, or you'll hear it referred to as process automations. Again, real estate is, like many businesses, are very transactional. A lot of the things that we do are highly administrative tasks that can really be taken off your plate. Whether it is sending automatic emails, as emails come in, you program it to respond and send an automatic email, or it's contracts. Contracts inundate us daily with trying to get them, we got a buyer, let's get this process, let's get this out. You can automate a lot of the information through process automation so that you're not doing everything. Even we were talking about like emails and things like that. As you, depending on how you collect information, whether it's a CRM or a Google Sheet or just kind
some
of
lead
Excel
generation.
So as you're getting prospects in, we can create business automations where the process comes in, whether it's a WhatsApp communication or a text or an email, they flow into this spreadsheet or CRM. It's going to automatically do several different things depending on the request. A realtor may say, I want you to automatically send an email to this client, and we'll program it to do that. And then based on their response to this email, we can even program it to do certain things accordingly. So it's really trying to take the tedious tasks, which are so important when it comes to building relationships with
the
people,
follow-ups.
And we know the money is in the follow-ups, right?
Right, because you got to stay on top of like your CRMs, and it's a lot because you have to generate all these messages and emails, and you have to think of different ways to connect with them through the week.
Absolutely. And whenever we are, it's not that we don't want to do it. It's like I'm busy, I'm just getting home. And a lot of realtors that I know, it's like I go home from listing appointments, closings, whatever the case may be, and it's like now I got to go home and I still got to do all the administrative tasks. Because the moment you don't respond to people, they are going to, because it's a lot of realtors out here, right?
It's a lot of competition.
Same thing with me. It's marketing agencies out here. If I don't respond to people right away, they're going to, because we live in a day and age where everybody doesn't know that they need a house until today, but they wanted all their questions answered yesterday. So we're we want it just like that. So we've got to make ourselves available, but we also got to have work-life balance.
Right.
And that's the beauty of AI, like you said before, not to take over your role or your job, but to enhance it and make things simpler for us.
Work-life balance is definitely a big deal. And I think in sales especially, because I mean, I know we don't like to group like ourselves as sales, like loan officers or real estate agents, but I mean, it is
Absolutely.
still sales.
We're selling ourselves every day.
Yeah, I mean, it is a self-employed pretty much business where you have to sell yourself to get the business.
That's right.
So then, in these types of sales businesses, it does take a toll on our or psychological, like our mental health, because
Yes, it does.
we are constantly in front and having to be available and stressing about the losing business, you know, what if we don't take this call now? What if we don't respond to this email now? Like we're losing the business.
Oh my gosh,
and
yes.
and
It's overwhelming.
yeah, and if you don't know the answer right away, that type of thing. So I think with what you're presenting here, it seems like the mental health aspect of that, the doubt, the constant pressure of the response and things like that is going to be alleviated in certain aspects.
Heavily. Yeah. Every realtor's dream is to grow their business. Some of them are there. I want to open my own brokerage. So these AI technologies have changed the game for brokerages, because it is actually giving them tools and resources where you are helping to, like you just said, you're kind of alleviating a lot of that overwhelming stresses for your agents. And we always feel like you said, we always feel like we have to be on. I mean, like, I met you at a networking event. So it's like, even when we're not in meetings, even when we're not on the phone, even when we're not writing a contract, we're trying to network.
To be out there. Yeah, we got to be out there.
Absolutely. So you just feel like you are always on, and you could be in a restaurant and someone taps you on the shoulder and you have to turn around with this beautiful smile because you don't know if it's a client or just somebody, my neighbor, somebody I just randomly know. But we always have this always on mentality. And I feel like the role that I play in AI is helping people to relax, still in growing their businesses, but relax. And even in not just growing your business, but scaling your business. And you cannot scale without technology.
Yeah, without resources for sure. And technology is like a really big part right now.
Absolutely.
Right? And AI has been around for a very long time, but it just hasn't really been implanted in these types of ways more commonly until recently, I think, in the business. So how long have you, how did you even get into this? Because I feel like this is such a huge topic of research and just getting to know the ins and outs of AI as a whole, so that you can be helpful. But then, like, what triggered you to like really get into this?
Yeah, so I've always loved technology. I actually have a bachelor's degree in computer networking. Don't be impressed by it, because I cannot stand working in computer networking. I don't like the hardware part of it. Didn't realize that until after I did the degree and spent the money. But I do
you never learn until you're in the field, right?
But I do love the software and application part of it, because I really feel like that's where we can grow and excel. So how I got into this was, I owned an Amazon marketing agency. And I still have a few clients in it, but I am kind of closing the doors on that, just because of some of the way Amazon has a lot of control over their platform. And when you're working with sellers, you have to rely on their platform. You can't sell unless you're on Amazon's platform. And they have a lot of hiccups and technology issues and things like that. But nonetheless, I was in a really bad accident last year, and I was down. I mean, like, I broke my femur. I was down for the count for a while.
That's painful.
So, but it was, and I'm a very busy person. I like to be engaged, like to be networking, things like that, but I couldn't do anything. So what am I going to do? I'm going to learn. I've always used AI in my business, but I'm like, how do these big companies really scale at the pace that they do? And I know it's technology, but I'm going to figure it out. So I just started doing my own research. Started implementing things into my Amazon agency at that time. And then I'm like, my gosh, this is a game changer. And I started talking to other agency owners and things that they were doing. And I'm like, whoa. So I started looking into like certifications in AI and really brushing up on the skill. and how it can grow businesses. And I just got all the way in. I was just so impressed. We think AI, we think ChatGPT, right?
Right. I mean, that's I think the first thing that we were introduced to that we could use that was not a robot, was like
exactly.
ChatGPT, and we were mind blown with ChatGPT. Like, oh my gosh, you can write my Facebook posts, and
and
you can fix my email. That's so crazy.
We still are, and so many people when I talk, especially real estate agents, I'm like, do you use AI? And they're like, yeah, you ChatGPT.
Yeah, and I feel like the listing descriptions a lot of the
like
time.
You said, social media, absolutely.
Right.
So I'm like, oh yes, but that's such a small piece of it. Like, let's actually chat about it, because it's so much more with the process automations. Like, I'm like, how can you grow your business? You're taking on your clients, you're doing all your meetings, you're doing all this, but like, when I'm chatting with agency owners, I'm like, I'm emailing you and I'm getting a response right away. Like, how are you doing both things at once? And I'm realizing they're using AI. And I didn't even realize it because the emails were flawless. It sounded like John, the person that thought I was talking to, was actually sitting there responding to me, but he wasn't. So when I look at how I started diving into other bigger companies and corporations and things like that, and I was like, wow. And that's why when I decided to go into this full time and eliminated my Amazon business, or still eliminating it, I wanted to focus on the home services businesses, because typically you're working with individuals who are really skilled at what they do, whether it's plumbers, HVAC, real estate agents, flooring individuals,
contractors,
electrician. They know the skill. They don't know the technology to grow the business.
Okay.
And it's very heavy. It's contractual based. You're having to do a lot of follow-ups with clients. And it's like, how do they?
That is very true.
Yes.
That is very true, because I do get deterred a lot of the times when I try to reach out to companies, like even my landscaping person or whatnot, and their follow-up is terrible, but their service is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they when they get out there and
you're impressed.
do the work, it's like, okay, I can see why people are using you, but then their customer service is not on point, especially because they're cutting the cost from that too, because it's hard to find people who are willing to work, I guess close to minimum wage to sit at a desk and answer phone calls or work out their calendars and stuff. It's hard to find the staffing for that nowadays too.
Very much so. Very much so. And their business is all about their customers. So whoever's working for you represents your business. So imagine taking that overhead of not needing a person to answer my phone. We can program in a voice agent. When that phone rings, it works effortlessly, because as long as the information they give us is correct, it can't make mistakes. That's the beautiful part of it. The accuracy is incredible. And someone says, like, you use landscaping, for instance, hi, do you service my area? And it's just talking to you, just like, again, it's John, the owner of the company. They're getting all their questions answered, like, I have an acre, how much will it cost? What type of services? Do you also remove shrubbery? Everything you can think of that somebody would ask you, that is programmed to answer those questions. Same thing with the chat bots on your website. And that's like the final piece of this that I wanted to talk about. That's like my favorite thing, especially for realtors, are the chat bots on the websites. Because if you go to any realtor's website, it's a lot of information, because it's listings, right? It's a lot of data. It's like a car dealership. It's a lot of inventory on there. Who is going to sit for 15 minutes trying to go through and find a house that,
and like set all the filters.
Right. All the filters.
And then you mess up and it resets and clears everything.
And then you got to reprogram your filters in again. All I want to do is be able to go on the website and ask questions. Hi, I'm looking to relocate to the Fredericksburg area. This is my price range. Do you have anything that would fit my family's needs? And it's just responding. And they're just typing, and it's just engaging. They're typing, and it's engaging. And the beautiful part of it is, the chatbot is gathering information for the real estate agent at the same time. As it's talking to you, you're like, it'll be programmed to say things like, may I get your name so that I can address you appropriately? But which sounds very professional, sounds very human-like, but really we want to collect data. Because if they just go on your website and you have no way for it to interact with your website, They scroll, they look through, they get off your website. You have no way to reach out to them because they
No.
don't leave their contact information.
Right.
Chatbots collect data also so that they can put it into a spreadsheet.
So it's like a CRM collector, yeah.
There you go. It's like having an employee working for you. It's not an employee. It's not the overhead.
And it's so unlimited to how much what direction you can take that conversation, because it's not only them being able to look up your inventory and give it to you, but it's also them to like schedule you, a meeting or schedule a showing at this property that they might be interested in, or providing, direct contact information to them or from them. So it is like a variety of different things just from this one resource that you can implant onto like your website.
Correct. And it's working when you don't even know what it's doing until it gives you data and say, hey, Sarah James scheduled an appointment for Wednesday at 3 o'clock for this property. You don't have to get involved until you show up to meet that client.
Can you program it for it to like go into like a calendar?
Yeah.
So you can like connect your calendars and your email and stuff to things so that it can like just be put in there and you can kind of...
Absolutely.
So I guess your day, if you do fully implement this AI role into your business, AI assistant or chatbot or whatever resource you want to utilize, because you can come up with all different types to customize.
Any scenario can be done.
Yeah. So then, let's say we implement that. What would my role like adjust to like cater to this new system that I have? Like what would change in my daily or my weekly type thing? Because I mean, obviously they'll do a lot of the tedious administrative tasks, but I guess I'm turning kind of into like an AI manager in a sense. So like what would that look
so
like?
The beautiful thing of it is you get to do what your role really is designed to do, and that is to engage people. So once the AI does all the back end work and collects the data and schedules an appointment, you can still, let's say it's Tuesday, the appointment's scheduled for Wednesday, you want to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm going to be meeting you tomorrow, just wanted to make sure we're still on, and have an opportunity to still chat with that person.
Right, of course.
But also it just takes all that tediness off of your plate so that you can do what we're designed to do. And we are designed to be the face behind our businesses. We are our own reputation.
Yeah, we are the brand, yeah.
We are the brand. We wear the hat. So when AI can do all of that back end stuff, what AI cannot do is be you and actually close that deal. So if your time is alleviated to where you can focus on nothing but that rapport building, and again, we are salespeople, selling myself, my services, and what I have to offer, and why I am the best realtor for this first-time home buyer who's scared to death, then that's a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't have to show up until it's time to meet that person. Like I said, unless you want to do some reach out and engagement before, but it's designed to where your time is freed up until it's time for you to put on your game face and sell that home.
Yeah. So does it require a lot of management on my part, or like on a real estate agent's part, to check to make sure the AI is doing its part, or if I want to make changes or whatnot, all of that, like, is it going to be easy to kind of navigate that, or will I need to, you to do that, or whoever would be helping me set this up?
So we can actually do it both ways. We can do it to where we set it up and then they can kind of manage it themselves, programming it with new updates and listings and things of that sort. Or we can manage it monthly for you. All they're sending us is new information. And we have to make sure that those lists, because we're talking about realtors, making sure those listings are always updated. The moment a house is sold, it needs to be taken down. The moment that we have a new listing, it needs to be put up, because that's your money, that's your revenue stream. So that's the beautiful part in it, is that as long as the information is updated, it works flawlessly on the back end. You do not have to be a techie person. If you're intimidated by technology, then let us manage it monthly. You don't have to worry about anything, except when we meet monthly, you just give us updates. Make sure that we have the information that we need. During the week, if a house sells, you shoot us a quick email. Hey, this is no longer available. Payment. And as long as the beautiful thing about AI and a chatbot, as long as the website is updated, because it's going to crawl that website for information,
Okay.
then the chatbot knows that that home is no longer available.
So it's part of like they basically update as you update your normal platforms.
Correct. So if a realtor
Okay.
takes a listing down off of their website, AI no longer has access to that information. That's how effortlessly and perfect.
Okay. So there's really
it
not a
is.
lot of extra stuff that I have to put into my schedule or into my list of things to do to
Right.
navigate this.
Because that's something that
Yeah.
you're going to do anyway. When a
Right.
home sells, you take it down. When a new listing comes up, you put it up. So you're not actually doing anything extra with that.
Yeah. So it's very, very customizable to what the agent's needs are or wants are to use AI to scale their business and to
Absolutely.
alleviate.
And very
Wow.
easy to program and make updates. So nothing is set in stone. If we feel like information needs to be adjusted, a schedule's changed, my calendar's no longer the same, I need to update. It's very easy to do because AI and technology is limitless. It's not like us. I can only absorb so much information in a day before I tap out and I start making errors.
And then you forget.
Right. But with AI, as long as you're programming it right and your information is correct, it's going to respond flawlessly every single time.
So do they record somewhere, or is this information kept somewhere that they collect? Not just like the personal information, but even like a chat summary or like a chat, like whenever they're engaging with somebody that's on my website, like is there a way that that person can access that chat, I guess?
Yeah, so not access the chat, but one thing that we use to collect data, because people don't like giving out their data until they know that they want to use your service.
Right, true.
Beautiful thing about a chatbot is like, again, no one goes to your website, reads all this information, and is like, oh, I want to work with her. We got to find clever ways to engage with them, answer their questions, be personable, and get that contact information. So one thing that we can program the chatbots to do is, towards the end of the conversation, even if they don't decide they don't want to book an appointment. Some people say, the chatbot says, hey, now that we got your questions answered, I see you're interested in these 3 properties. Would you like to book showings? They may say, no, not at this time. I think you've answered all my questions. And they say, okay, Sarah, let me send you a summary of what we discussed so that you have it available when you are ready to schedule. And at that point, Sarah now has to give us her email address so that she can get the summary.
Because it's like you're kind of planning it so that it's like
Yes.
she's getting something,
Yes.
but you're actually getting something as well.
Correct. Absolutely. So the
That's very
key
clever.
is to get the information, even if they don't schedule, then the realtor can go through and do their own follow-ups, or we can still program AI to do it.
Yeah. Wow.
To try to get her to schedule that appointment that she didn't want to schedule for whatever reason at that time. The key is the money is in the follow-up, and you can't follow up if you don't have contact information.
Yeah.
I can have a million people visit my
is.
website, and I never know it if there's no way to engage them.
But there is like statistics out there about how, in real estate, they do say like, people who have bought a home or sold a home, they do say that it's a pretty high percentage, I don't know exactly what it is, that they have lost business or they didn't use this specific real estate person because of the lack of follow-up.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of us we want to believe that we may be good at it, but we're only good to the extent of what we can do and what our schedule or calendar holds. So I feel like by just even having this AI implemented into the business, that is really just going to make you very good at the follow-up game.
Correct.
Without having to try harder necessarily.
Correct. And that's how real estate is using AI to differentiate themselves, to set
Yeah,
themselves
for
apart. And you know how it is when you, like you said, you calling trying to get a landscaper, or you calling, I don't know, Verizon or whatever the case may be. We are so turned off now by bad customer service. It leaves such
I mean, when you call, you kind of want someone to respond to your needs because, like you said, the need is present now. Like, people aren't calling, like, sad to say, like, I think most people are procrastinators in this day and age, especially because they are so busy that, like, you're not thinking about something 5 days before you need it, you're thinking about something now.
Right
so
now.
like if you're waiting a whole nother day
Yes.
for a response or to schedule something or to know that problem is being attended to, it's a lot.
And
It's a long time.
And I've already called your competitor. Because again, I need it now. Even though I don't, I need it now. I think I do mentally.
Right.
We are a very in-demand society. Absolutely. And if we don't feel like we get what we want, we go elsewhere. We have commitment issues. Let's face it. But it's just the way that life is. We're just very busy. And we don't know. It could be a single mom that finally got a moment to actually call a realtor trying to find the kids a home. And the realtor didn't answer, and she hasn't gotten back with me, and she's like, I only got this small window of time. I have to be able to get my questions answered. So it's not a bad thing that we're so in demand. We are just a very busy society.
Yeah.
And we have to adapt.
Yeah, it's a lot of balance to do with work and life. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure, we have become a lot more overwhelmed, I think, with our days.
Yeah,
especially when you do have to,
absolutely.
like, involve the kids and things like that.
Oh my goodness, schedules.
So,
yeah.
I know. So
We literally live by schedules.
yeah. So yeah, this is like very mind-blowing information, but it seems like it's not, you don't need a scientist or a rocket scientist to really like, get this going.
No.
So how do people reach you or your company to, get information or to, kind of start implementing these types of things?
Absolutely. So our website can be found at theperfectdigitalsolution.com because we are your perfect digital solution. So theperfectdigitalsolution.com. They can obviously reach out to us by phone. They can call me directly, 540-455-0225. And what we typically do, especially for businesses that are new to implementing AI, because the whole purpose is to eliminate the overwhelm. We don't want to overwhelm even more.
Right.
So we don't want to start with throwing, let's automate your whole business and you don't even got to touch it. We don't want to do that's overwhelming.
Right. You want to take baby steps.
We want to take baby steps. We want to talk to you and figure out where are you experiencing the overwhelm the most, and how can we alleviate that for you. And it could be starting with the chatbot first on your website, just collecting that information and getting those questions answered and building your reputation, because we know that the more people could visit your website and the longer they stay on your website, the higher you rank on Google also. So it's not just finding clients, it's building your business. So we may start with something like that, and then we can go into other avenues if needed. We have clients that just do chatbots with us. So we make it as simple as you need it to be, as long as it is still addressing your concerns and your needs.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks, Keisha. My mind's already like bubbling up with a bunch of things. It's very appealing for anybody that's in this type of business to when you're saying like, let me take work off of you
I know, right?
Build your business up. Do you have to sell me on that?
Absolutely.
But thanks for taking the time to really get this going. But obviously there's so much more information that I'm sure you have to share, and a lot of resources that we really couldn't cover in our video. So definitely reach out to Keisha, the Perfect Digital Solution, and I will post her contact at the end of the video so that you can save that for those of you that are interested in getting started with this, and join us on the next one.